Hello there, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey with Teaching Online with Kelsey. So if this is your first time seeing me, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're notified of new videos on my channel every week, and to also give this video a thumbs up. It does support me and this channel. And before we really dig in to this video's topic, I want to remind you that I have YouTube memberships. And this is where you'll be able to get insider tips that I do not show anywhere else on my channel and to the public. And you will also get access to group mentorship if you are a super fan, and then one-on-one coaching with me when you are a loyal fan. And I'm excited to be offering these memberships and to be able to serve each and every one of you individually and in groups. And so if you are interested in joining in my membership where you get special perks every month, please make sure to sign up down below and in the description box, and make sure to check out all of my other links in my description as well, because they also help support me and this channel. So the topic of this video that I'm going to be going over is about online teaching and how a lot of us have these really big expectations on what online teaching is supposed to be. And then we are faced with the realities of online teaching, which a lot of us that have been in the online teaching community for a while just laugh at these really big expectations that a lot of people think that online teaching is really about, or just thinking like, oh, you know, XYZ is going to happen, when really, like, online teaching is not that linear. And this video, especially if you are wanting to become an online teacher, you've been kind of watching other YouTubers or maybe me about online teaching, and you're like, I'm not really sure if I want to like dive into this. Or if you are a new online teacher, like you just dove into a platform, whether that be ALLSCHOOL or ALLSCHOOL or Cambly or maybe VIP Kid Global. I'm not really sure what's happening in a VIP world, but I digress. You're diving into online teaching, and I just want to go over some of the expectations that may be in your head about online teaching. And then for me as an online teacher for 3 years, just share the realities of what really happens with online teaching. So the first expectation I want to go ahead and just take right out of the gate is that when you sign up to be an online teacher, that you are just going to be making like loads and loads and loads of money starting out, that you are promised to earn so much money working from home. You're set up to believe that you could be earning a lot of money when you are first starting out. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to earn a lot of money online teaching, because we know there are online teachers out there that make at least 10K a month, if not more. We know that it's possible to earn a lot of money with online teaching. But does that happen instantaneously? No. So even though you're actually told that you're going to be making a lot of money, the reality of online teaching is that you're not going to be making a whole lot of money starting out. A lot of times for online teachers, it takes years to build, you know, a community of students that we see every week, and families that we stay in communication with, and have a growth and, you know, a business built by then. It takes a while for it to happen. And not saying that in a month or two that you have, you know, fully booked classes and are able to make like $2,000 a week. I'm not saying that's impossible, but the reality that you're just going to be starting out earning a lot of money instantaneously is just not realistic for a typical online teacher. You know, it's one of those things that you have to realize that it takes time to grow your platform, your profile as an online teacher. It takes a little bit. So the income starting out is, you know, it's not going to be great. I can remember when I first started out on ALLSCHOOL, and that was actually in the midst of the Panini in 2020. And my first 2 classes that I had taught, like my very first time teaching on ALLSCHOOL, I think I made a total of about $14. And that was after ALLSCHOOL took their 30%. And also I did not put taxes into consideration. So not a lot of money. And it was also the same with VIP Kid. You know, you may get like a few bookings, you know, every now and then. And when I was working with VIP Kid back in 2019, I was getting paid $8 a class, and not even really counting for other bonuses or anything. So really it was only about maybe $24 in that 1 week. So it wasn't a lot. And you know, you just cannot expect to be earning a lot of money when you're first starting out. And if you do start on ALLSCHOOL or even ALLSCHOOL, and you do see lots of learners signing up for your classes, and you're taking, you know, and they're taking your classes every week, and more families are signing up for classes you haven't even taught yet, you know, that is just sheer luck. Because that was another thing that happened with me on ALLSCHOOL. I had created a solar system class, and it kind of exploded. And it exploded so much that it helped me replace my full-time job income, which was how I was able to transition into being a full-time online teacher. And, you know, and the thing is, it's not always going to be consistent either. You have to also, you know, remember that it's also not consistent, which kind of goes into expectation number 2. And that's going to be expecting a consistent income. So earning a lot of money and thinking that you're going to be earning that money consistently kind of go hand in hand with online teaching. Because the second reality of online teaching is that online teaching is not linear. So there are some months you earn lots of money, and then other months it's like pulling teeth. You know, that can be really frustrating, especially if you are starting out as a full-time online teacher and you're like, I need to make sure I can feed my family and pay the bills. Why are these people not signing up for my classes? So that's another thing that you have to be sure that what you have to offer is something that you can offer consistently. So that could be like ongoing classes, or that could be, you know, tutoring sessions with a particular child that is going to need more than like 5 or 10 tutoring sessions to be sure that they are at, you know, that they're at their mastery level of desire, you know, per their teacher or per their parents. So it's one of those things that you also need to consider. It's not going to be consistent income. Some months are going to be better than others. Other months you're going to think, did I just make a huge mistake? And you have to remember that, you know, it's a journey. You have to learn to prepare for months that are going to be slower than others, even if that means setting a little bit of that extra money that you earn per month on the side, so that way when it is the slower months, you're still able to make the call and you're able to pay your bills and feed your family. Now, was I smart about doing that? No. But don't make the same mistake that I did. So the third expectation about online teaching is that it is a get-rich-quick scheme. This kind of goes back into my first point, in that it takes time to build your online teaching business. So don't expect to make a lot of money at first. And even going in, because of my what happened with me teaching with VIP Kid, because I was even guilty of being lured into believing, yeah, I'm going to be making a lot of money because I'm basically going to be earning $20 an hour because I get paid $8 a class and I get all these extra bonuses, and who knows, maybe people will use my referral code and blah, blah, blah. So I was going in with these really big expectations that I would just work 5 hours a day and make $100 a day. And that is not all what happened, because you earn money, with however many bookings you get. And sometimes you get bookings, other times you do not get bookings. And when you're first starting out, you don't get a lot of bookings. So I knew when I was going into ALLSCHOOL, I knew that not a lot of people would know who I was on ALLSCHOOL, and I would be a brand new teacher. No one has ever taken classes with me before. So it would just be this expectation like, okay, it's probably going to be really slow starting out. I get that. That's okay. Because I was working a full-time job and doing online teaching on the side in that moment. So it wasn't really that big of a deal if I didn't earn a lot of money at first. So, but it's definitely, and to the point that I am now, it's not something that, happens instantaneously. You're not going to be making $2,000 on that first day. You may not even make $50 on that first day. It's a harsh reality of online teaching, especially when you're a new teacher. Just don't be surprised if, your enrollments are slow. It's not a get rich quick scheme. These things do take time, and they take a lot of patience for you to finally see that growth and finally see more learners coming in and seeing what you have to offer. Now, for this fourth expectation, I can't believe there are so many people that have shared this with me or feel like, I don't really know about online teaching. It almost sounds like you're selling essential oils. I can't believe there's a lot of people that think online teaching is an MLM. Reality check, it is definitely not an MLM. I'll tell you, if online teaching was truly an MLM, I feel like I would be making a lot more money than I am now because of the ALLSCHOOL referrals that I'm getting. And I feel like I wouldn't have to get another part-time job if it was an MLM, because all the teachers that I refer to, I would be earning a partial of their earnings. And that's just not true. It is true that if teachers use my referral codes and then they are teaching on the platform themselves, that I get a one-time referral bonus. And that happens when they first sign up and when they first offer their first class. That's it. After that, you're on your own. You keep all your earnings. It's, when, especially for ALLSCHOOL, when ALLSCHOOL says they're only taking 10% of your earnings, that percentage rate is for them to advertise your classes and to also use their ClassPod feature. And it goes the same with ALLSCHOOL. ALLSCHOOL's a little bit higher with their 30% takeaway rate. And that's just to advertise your classes and to be able to use Zoom during your classes without any time restrictions and special features and that sort of thing. So that's why those fees are there. It's for the company to make sure you can still continue to take classes and that families are aware that you have these classes to offer. It's not the percentages to try to pay out other teachers, and it's not a pyramid scheme. I promise you. When I have teachers that say, when they see the referral links, it's not for an MLM. It's just, we just are recommending that you try out the course, and that, and if you do try it out, then you're free to ask help to get on the platform and get started. And then once you're on your own, you're on your own. Like, that's pretty much, the referral link. And then the earnings are all going to depend on, when you set up your availability, what time you set up your classes, and how many learners sign up for your classes. The fifth and final expectation of online teaching is that you need to have this elaborate background. You need to have this expensive ring light. You need to have all of this fancy camera equipment. You need to buy all these props. You need to buy all of this and that and this and that. And you need to be an expert teacher. And you need... No. You do not have to be a previous teacher in order to teach online. And I'll make sure to put it in the cards. I did do a video about having a cheap classroom setup, although still nice, just affordable classroom setup for $25 and under. So I definitely recommend checking out that video because it goes more in depth with how to do a class setup with not having to spend a lot of money, or maybe not even any money at all. And so you don't need to have all this nice equipment, in order to have a successful classroom, or even to have successful classes. What I have here is something that has been in the works, for years, because online teaching is something that I've been doing for a really long time. But when you're starting out, this is not the expectation. Okay, even if your walls are bare, or you have just a plant, or maybe you're VIP king it VIP kid ing. Okay, if you're gonna do what was expected for VIP kid, that's okay too, especially if you're in the ESL world, which is something you can do on ALLSCHOOL too. Then it might be a little more expected to have, teacher, your name, or maybe some alphabet. For me personally, even when I taught with VIP Kid, I never liked the alphabet stuff. I never liked all the colors and the background. I usually like something a little more simple, like what you see here with just the map and a picture and my Christmas cactus. So this is just my personal taste. You don't have to like it. This is something that I like. And if you are able to create something clean and nice with a good lighting, at least in the background, then you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. Especially since a lot of materials that we use for online teaching classes are now all digital. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to use a lot of props, or to use, flashcards or whiteboards, like I said, unless you're doing ESL. But, if you're teaching like English content classes, like native English speakers, and you're teaching about the solar system, or you're teaching them how to paint, whatever, or crocheting, knitting, unless there are classes that warrant supplies, a lot of stuff is digitalized. So you can even make a free Canva account, and use those slides in your classes. Like, it really does not have to be, and it doesn't have to be that fancy when you're first starting out. And I'm also going to give out this little bonus tip at the end. I know the expectation when you're doing online teaching and you're watching all of these videos about online teachers that have been doing it for years, and they're telling you need to do this and this and this and this and this. Just realize that it's not going to be perfect the first time. You are going to be making mistakes. So that expectation that you need to make sure that you have this type of equipment, that you have these types of slides, that you're offering these types of classes, and that you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you feel like you have to follow like a checklist and making sure you got that. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if maybe a suggestion one online teacher says is something that you're like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to do that. That's not really my thing. That's okay too. That's the reality of online teaching, is that you end up finding your own groove, and you end up finding out what works for you. Seriously, there are several of my online teacher colleagues that they do that works great for them, that I'm thinking, not so much for me. This is what works for me. This is how I'm able to get my life together. It's all trial and error, just to see, like, maybe I should do my slides this way. Maybe I should do, teach my classes this way, especially since I use a different education method than most teachers that teach online. I have to adapt to to the education that I know as well. So just know that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to really know what you're doing in terms of like figuring out how to screen share slides or if, because I'm here to tell you now, your first few classes are going to be trial and error to see, you know, if kids really like this or if they're going to be like bored with it really quickly, you know, so you're going to be able to gauge that. Believe me, the very first solar system lesson I taught on ALLSCHOOL is a very, very, very different lesson than the lesson that I show on ALLSCHOOL now. It's very different then, and it changes with time. So realize you're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect, you know, but you're going to find your groove with online teaching eventually. So I hope that this video gives you a little bit of insight if you're going into online teaching, you know, what to expect with online teaching, and realize your expectations, you know, may not be the actual realities of online teaching. And if there are some things that have happened with you that I did not share in this video, please leave a comment down below. I would be happy to hear, you know, something that you expected out of online teaching and what reality actually came from that. I would be happy to hear what you have to say on that. And please, please make sure to check out my channel and subscribe, and make sure that if you are interested in coaching with me, that you sign up with the YouTube memberships. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.